Thanks, Tony from T1 Race Development out of Dallas, Texas. We're here at TX2K20. I think this is, I don't know, the eighth or ninth year we've been here. It's one of our big races of the year. We've got a bunch of cars out here as usual. We've got the usual gang. We've got George and Christine Dodworth, both with a little more power, some new sensors and some new data stuff from last time out. So George's best was 672 last time out. Always looking to better it a little bit. The increments are going to be pretty small at this point.
Speed 200.
So we're at Texas 2K 2020. The last time we saw you guys was back at the GTR World Cup in Bradenton. And as always, we have a number of improvements to the car. And in reality, we're still talking about the improvements from back in Maryland. Bradenton was a great beginning test of the changes we made over the winter. But we didn't even remotely make it all in. We're still down maybe 10 to 20 pounds from where the old engine was historically. So I think the main goal here at Texas 2K for me is to just get the car all in on the turbo, so meaning 100% duty cycle on the turbos and make a full clean pass down the track and see what the heck that number is. I suspect with Jason Miller on the scene here that if everything works, you know how this is with GTRs, the stars have to align, we don't blow up a transmission, any number of other failures, but we'd really like to improve on that 670. On a napkin, there's some pretty exciting numbers that are possible there, but we just don't know. You know, it was an incredible stroke of luck for us in Bradenton to make 4 passes in a row, each a 6, each improving on the pass, each one intentionally turning up the power just a small amount. And in that dream world, what we want to do here is turn it up a small amount right from where we left off in Bradenton and pretend it's the same day and we have that same stroke of luck. Big issue for us back in Bradenton were the tires. We had what was a historic best 60 foot for the car. It was a 115. Unfortunately, it left pieces of the tires stuck to the track at the starting line, and I was not knowing this as I crossed the finish line at 200 and teens, maybe that was 216, not knowing I didn't have full tires still on the car. And upon seeing that back at the pits, it was a rude awakening. It was very scary. It took something to get my nerves built back up again and get back in the car. I think knowing we come here with a fresh set of tires and now data, we've added a ton of sensors to the car. We're filling, I think it's 3 CAN buses worth of data. I should know the answer to that. Maybe it's 4 now, all in for the whole engine package. With the sensor package, we needed more CAN bus space. So we've gone to that 1218 dash Motec. It's a monster. It's actually a beautiful thing in there. The prior dash has gone into Christine's car. It's allowed her to pick up features like having a line lock and some great features. For the Night Fury, it gave us data. So we're now data logging the temperature of the track, and that's something I can see in real time. We're data logging the temperature of the tires, and that's actually also on the dash. So I have a bar graph basically where I can see track temp, and I can see current tire temp, and my job in the burnout box is to raise them about 20 degrees. And initially we're just going to go out there, I'm going to do what I do, and we're going to see what that data is. We've added shock position sensors, we have potentiometers to measure the deflection of each shock. Nothing really new about that. That's something everyone's doing when they're trying to get the data off these cars. We've added laser sensors, called a laser altimeter, but we're measuring the height of the chassis above the ground. So when you're logging both of those, if you have shock deflection and you have chassis deflection, you can subtract the two, and now we can also monitor separately what is the deflection of the tire as it goes down the track. So, you know, we hit these tires hard with that GR6. It's a big impulse. I said to somebody, it's like thinking of if you're passing a basketball to a child, do you spike the thing and let it bounce a few times as it goes to them, or do you roll it? Well, you know, a torque converter is the equivalent of rolling that ball out nicely. We don't. We spike this thing. But it'll give us the best view of what they're doing, what the chassis is doing, the suspension's doing, and then, you know, some of the best in the industry. You know, Paul Yaw is going to look at this with Tony, and they're going to try to dial that car in for everything it can be. So I'm excited about that. We also have a GPS system. It's you know, satellite based and inertial based. It's basically a 400 hertz GPS system that could be installed in a missile, and that's probably what we need. So initially we're just going to go down the track, observe that GPS, and see if there's any chance of using the GPS as a strategy for traction control. You know, I have a heck of a time keeping this car straight. If there's any chance for me of picking up traction control as a feature and having a car that goes straight, even if it slows it down slightly, I'm going to be a much happier guy getting strapped in every day. Another update on the car is a wing. I guess the wing is now like a trademark of the Night Fury, and I think there's a whole bunch of people out there that have no idea what How to Train Your Dragon is, but you know, half the wing is red now, and it has the logo from the Toothless is Red 1 wing. I learned this Red 1 and Red 2. We'll save Red 2 for when that's a forward mount turbo setup, but right now it's Red 1, so any of the How to Train Your Dragon fans, there's a little nod to them. But it's a new wing. The prior wing was attached to the trunk lid, and there's an enormous amount of downforce. You know, it could be 500 to 800 pounds of downforce, and that meant having to keep a lot of structure in the trunk of the car. You know, gas lifts and everything. And this is for the future. We've not done like the gutting of that area back, but now with this new wing, it's attached directly to the frame. In this case, the roll cage structure. That's going to let us put more force directly to the frame. Not worried about this trunk. Not worried about having to keep the weight and structure of a trunk. Now the trunk can just be a skin. So we'll be looking for some weight savings back there. There actually is a sensor on the wing too. This is something Tony had all the way back on the T1 car when he first ran the 6. It will be data logging the position of that wing, and the guys have done some math, and they've set an initial and a final angle for that wing to limit the travel. And again, so now we're going to data log that wing. It's been done before, but we're going to data log the shocks, we're going to data log the tires. So not just suspension reaction to the shock of that tires, but also suspension reaction to the downforce. I think we'll be able to see too much compression going down the track if there is, or we'll see that there's not enough. And that's something now they can adjust the rates. Again, of this passive wing, for those that don't know, the wing starts at a very high angle of attack, and as the airspeed increases across the wing, decreases the angle of attack. The idea is to have something like a constant downforce on the car going down the track, but we don't want that high drag at the top end. And for all the haters that say, yeah, the wing adds too much drag, I mean, 218 trap speed, maybe there's more on the table, but I think it's a good compromise. Anything where I can go straight. And the car's been relatively straight on the back half. I think that speaks to the effectiveness of that wing. So very happy about that. But now we're not making guesses anymore. So we can data log everything the wing's doing, suspension's doing, the tires are doing. And I think the benefits of that you're not going to see here at Texas 2K. I think you'll see the benefits of that fleet-wide with T1 cars and all the cars. You know, it's an open community. This information is shared and exchanged. I think you'll see by the time of the World Cup Finals in Maryland, you'll see more cars going straight, less bouncing, and you know, that's via the data that we hope to collect too. We've not used any nitrous on this car yet, but we are prepared to if we need to, and that's going to be a whole new level of excitement. And adding another 300 to 400 horsepower to that car should be some pretty exciting things. So, we've had over 70 pounds of boost, and at the moment we left off about 63, and we're hoping we can make about 80. We don't push them hard on the dyno. It was kind of a joke running around. It was 2319. We have a 2319.
2319! We have a 2319!
And we're probably here. We're going to start on 2500 wheel, and we're going to lean on it from there. And it's not so much I want to break the world record. I want to take this platform lower, and dare I say closer to that 5. I don't think that's a number for me to earn, but I know someone out there. I'm talking to Giddy. Talking to ETS that we're looking for them to pull that 5 and maybe come Maryland with everything they're working on the car over the summer. So I'm just hoping to get the whole platform there a little bit closer this weekend and narrow that gap.
So at TX2K, we've got 2 days of roll racing, 2 days of drag racing. Because of the way the schedule is set up, it's roll racing first, drag racing second. Our priority with the majority of our cars is drag racing. If the schedule was flipped and it was drag racing first and then roll racing, then I think we would do a lot more of the roll racing because, the reality is 4 days of racing is really hard on a car. So nobody wants to break and then not be able to drag race. So as such, we've only got a couple cars that are roll racing. Just doing so to get some more seat time with the car. Chris Firestone and Christine Dodworth are both doing the roll race. 68mm cars. One of their earlier passes, Christine went 207 and Chris went 214.
Remaining on the lanes being open for roll race qualifying. Here's Chris Firestone. On lane only. Here he comes. There he goes. Top end Firestone, 198 miles an hour. Here's Christine Dodworth and Coy Christmas. Who's got the lady taking out? Here they come. Will we go green? We go green. Christine sticking with him. Top end wind light. Christine got him. Look at that. 213 to 227. Oh, left lane was. Number 236 this weekend. Christine hits high gear and says, "See you later." 217.74. There you go. Yeah.
the semifinals. They got about 10 minutes to get back in the lanes. They're getting everything prepped up, so can't wait to see the finals.
No, we are not green. No green. So here we go. The tower is ready. Will we get green? Will we get green? Yes, we get green. Christine passes him. Top end. Win light. Kevin, look at that. 230 miles an hour.
Oh boy, the turbo's fixed? I don't know. So here we go, the tower is ready. Shepard's car out here again. He got a couple hits out of GTR World Cup. Went 7-1 on a brand new build, so that would be cool to get that car in the sixes this weekend.
That's it. Oh.
Christine's car went 7:41, I believe, at GTR World Cup. So I think that car's got at least a 20 in it.
You got it, Christine. You've been doing it all weekend. Just keep doing it.
Larissa Singh's a new build for the stock turbo class. It's Nismo turbos, Motec ECU, built engine, makes a little bit over 800 horsepower, so that one will be fun. Got my 2017 Nismo out here that my wife's going to drive for the first time. So it's also in the stock turbo class, stock engine, stock turbo, just to play with. got Stacy Barnett's car out here, another 68mm contender. All these 68mm cars are 1800 to 2000 horsepower. So TX2K's been a big gathering for a long time. This is, I believe, the 20th or 21st year. It started out obviously much smaller, but it kind of turned into a Toyota Supra thing, or mostly started as a Supra thing. And as Supras got to be less and less, and the GTRs started coming out, it's kind of shifted. It's not just GTRs and Supras, but it's a huge gathering. Ever since we've been working on GTRs, we started coming out here, and it's a great event. I mean, it's huge. 4 days of racing is borderline too much, but it's great. Everybody has a good time out here, and we like it. So TX2K20 follow-up. We had a lot of cars here. We literally had a car in every class this year. It's something a little new for us. So we had George and Shep in Unlimited. George won a 7-1, Shep won a 7-2. What I thought was finals, first thing this morning, both cars broke. Turns out that was supposed to be an exhibition run, but we're gonna call that the finals. So some driveline problems, some engine problems, you know, part of it. GTR class 3, we had Stacy Barnett, Chris Firestone, and Christine Dodworth. Christine and Stacy made it to semis, I think. 740s, 750s for both of them. Varen in GTR class 1, he went 970, new build, first time out, stock turbo thing. Mitch Michaels, car normally runs 760, 770. We had a transmission issue with that one. He got knocked out first round. The Nismo with Amy driving, she went 10-0 at 137. She was in the DCT class. Not enough for the McLaren 720 she was paired up against to, I think went to the finals. So most of our cars we came out with to do the drag race. We had a couple cars that wanted to do roll race, more than anything to just get seat time with the car. Christine Dodworth, I think won this class last year, qualified for the fast class this year. She went 214 to 217 every pass, took out a couple Lamborghinis, Audis, lost in the finals, went 217. That was really great. She had a really great weekend. Good weekend for everybody. We all had fun.